Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. Let rain fall, let rain
Good afternoon and welcome to Laurel Park, and thank you for joining us here this morning on Today at the Races. I'm Gabby Gaudette, joined by Keith Fustel for this lovely Saturday, and we stayed dry yesterday, and it looks like we're going to have on and off showers throughout the afternoon
I think
today.
Scattered showers throughout the afternoon. Hopefully everything stays intact. I think it will. Right now the track is sealed, the main track sealed. It's fast, the condition is fast, and we'll start with good, I'm sure, with the turf course. The turf course held up pretty well yesterday.
It did. I thought it definitely did. Maybe yesterday we were on the courses, the Kelso and the Fort Marcy course, and it looked like it might have been hedging a little bit towards speed.
Yeah, I think a slight hedge towards speed. Yeah, we saw a couple horses late come from off the pace and close some ground, but yeah, no doubt several of the winners up within a couple lengths when they turned for home.
And that was the first time yesterday that we got on the turf for 2 weeks, so that was definitely important to pay attention to it. But as it is getting a little bit of moisture this afternoon, it could perhaps change today. And let's get into the Maryland Million.
Sure.
Do we have to mark our calendars here? It's October 22nd, so just a few weeks away. We have a special post in that 11 o'clock hour, and it's going to be free admission. It's going to be a great day. We've got a couple of nominations that I was looking at, everything preparing for the day itself, and the week leading into it is always fun. We have the annual Maryland Million 5K, which is this coming Saturday, October 15th. Are you going to get your sneakers on, Keith?
I will not. I do enough walking and jogging during the week, but no. I think I would do okay, though. I think I would survive the 5K.
I will tell you, I've done it for a couple of years, and it's good until you hit the racetrack, and then you
then
really
the legs
start
go.
tiring. You're like, oh, man, we still have a mile left. So lots of fun, though. Looking forward to a Maryland Million. And what about Maryland representing out of town yesterday? And looking at Keeneland, we saw Dancing Rags win the Grade 1 Alcibiades. Big, huge congratulations to Angel Cruz, who obviously has his tack here. He took off his horses here and went to Keeneland yesterday, and I think that was a good move.
He made the right decision, absolutely. She was a strong winner. The debut winner went up, I want to say, Mama, next time I just missed, and followed up, Graham, he's done this dance before. He knows how to get these horses ready, stretching out, handling the rata ground, and pointing. I'm assuming to the Breeders' Cup.
Yep. Yeah. It was a very impressive win, and I tweeted this yesterday too. I loved the raw emotion that we saw from Angel Cruz when he crossed the finish line. Just so happy getting his first Grade 1 win. So congratulations to Angel, congratulations to Grand Motion, and also congratulations to Arnaud Delacour, who looks like he's got a very nice sprinter on his hands in AP Indian. Arnaud he's here every time his horses run, and I was hanging out with him on the rail the other day, and he said, we'll take it by stride and eventually maybe get to the Breeders' Cup, but it doesn't seem like it's a priority. He just wants to keep winning Grade 1s, Grade 2s with this horse.
And he's doing it, and what a gritty, determined effort. Just a narrow decision, but the right kind of race to really get you seasoned and tightened up for the next step. Gets a good little break here, about a month break to settle in, and I'm sure we'll be ready to fire.
And Grand Motion tweeting that Fair Hill was well represented yesterday at Keeneland, and rightly so. But congratulations to all of them out of town, and we welcome them back in town today. Looking at today's featured wagers and our carryovers, not too big of carryovers, but we do have small carryovers today. We have that rolling super high 5 that kicks off in race 1, $533 and change. The Rainbow 6, just over $460. And of course, we have the late pick 5 that does have a carryover. It usually doesn't have a carryover today. again, the early pick 5 is that mandatory payout. So lots of action today. We'll take a look at our track and weather conditions.
Okay.
And right now it's, as you said, scattered showers on and off throughout the day. We're probably going to get into the high 60s, if that. It's a nice brisk fall day here in Maryland. But so far the turf is listed as good.
Yep.
The main track is fast, and we're set for 1:10 p.m. first post.
Yep.
Okay, we get to the first race. Let's dive right into the action. Once again, Super High 5 carryover, over $533 here. And this race does kick off the early pick 5, and I have a ticket for us. And that's the Super High 5, 15% takeout there. Once again, with 7 or more betting interest. So get right into that in race 1. And looking at the early pick 5, Keith, I did come up with a single, and it's kind of a bold single. It's just one horse that I like in the sequence, and that comes in race 2, the 6th, Antietam Creek, this 5-year-old mare for trainer King Leatherberry. I think she's getting a tremendous class relief. She's never faced anything like this before. I know she has sometimes a trouble finding the winner's circle, but I do think that she's obviously dropping from starter allowance company to that $5,000 tag here today. So that's going to be my single in the sequence, and using 3 horses and the other 4 legs for a $40.50 ticket.
Yeah, this early sequence is tough.
Yeah,
I mean, there's
it
some
is.
shorter price horses. That's why I'm going to do an early pick 4 ticket. I think there's some value to be had. I'm going to take a couple shots against some short price horses. Antietam Creek I did not use, but I may have to go back and look. I mean, I think she could be the speed. Color Me Sexy's not going to be too far off of her, but we'll get a look at that in race 2.
Okay, let's look at race 1, though. We have a lot to get to, and we started off, we both agree on the 6 here, Time to Spare for trainer Linda Albert. And last time out, I just like the fact that this horse comes out of Timonium, because when you get that far back at Timonium, going around those tight turns, it's just so hard to make
Right.
up a considerable amount of ground.
No doubt. I got a note here. It's just kind of maybe she lost interest, and that's what happened. They got to the far turn. She took a peek over, saw the Swifty Swine races, said, "Hey, I want to watch these guys go around a little bit." And
Ferris
well, yeah,
wheel.
I'll race another
Yeah.
day. Yeah.
She got distracted by the Ferris
So no
wheel.
doubt. But I think she can be a little bit closer in this field as well. That was a day where another batch just opened up like 7 or 8 lengths. Stormy Mom was the closest pursuer, and they ran 1-2 to the wire. I agree. I think she's okay over this racetrack. You see this: 2 wins, 5 seconds, and a third out of 12 starts. She likes Laurel. She'll be forwardly placed in this field. Becky Keke will go out for the lead. Maybe Sola Fide will entertain her. Those 2. She'll have a target time to spare. I think she can kind of come grind them down.
And as you said, Ebony Bird, she just looks like one that just doesn't have a tremendous amount of
No.
early speed, but neither does Solified to the inside of her as well. So you want to look for horses that could be at least positionally placed, and I think Time to Spare could be one of them, and definitely Becky Keke. That's why I opted for her, because I think she should be able to show some speed from the rail.
No doubt. I don't think she was on the best part of the track September 17th. I have that as a little bit of a negative inside day. She went away, sprinted out. Didn't go really, really fast, but no, just threw in the towel, midway on the turn. I expect an improved effort for Becky Keke. She should be able to go ahead and clear these horses. But let's take a shot with Time to Spare. Linda Albert does good. 22%. Fillies and mares less than 10,000 sprinting on the dirt over the last couple seasons. She's solid with this type of runner.
She absolutely is. Easy to trust there. We get to race 2, and this does start the pick 4, the early pick 4, Keith, and you have a nice little ticket for that sequence, so let's see it.
Yeah, going to take a shot against the favorite, Color Me Sexy, the 9-5 morning line favorite in race 2. I like Sally Palakai and Convoyeur. I think these 2 are going to get the right kind of trip with the speed. If Antietam Creek clears, your horse could be gone. There's no doubt about it. She's definitely done okay, and she gets a little bit more moisture in the track. We saw, I think, over at Pimlico run a good one. Like that third race, I think, is absolutely wide open. We're going to hit the all button. Race 4, let's go with the 2 chalks, 5 Mongolian King, 7 researchers, both dropping, but both trainers do okay with these kind of drops. And then we're going to close it out with 3 horses in the 5th with the 4, 6, and 7 taking a shot against Jamie Ness's favorite. The other part scratches the other part of the entry, but the one I still believe will be the favorite in there. So I think there's some value in here, and that third race is just a mad scramble of a field.
Oh, it absolutely is.
$60.
I like that. I do like that ticket, clicking the all button, hopefully getting some value there in the second leg of the pick 4. I love the pick 4s here, the pick 5s too. Looking at the early pick 5 yesterday, it paid 3 out of 5.
I know.
3 out of 5.
Yeah, you're
Why
crazy
does
if
nobody believe
you're
this?
crazy if you're not digging and playing like these races, the early ones. We've seen it slip away time and time again. 3 of 5, 4 of 5, the one Vinny hit, and then yesterday's late pick 4 sequence. You know, we missed it on the show, but we were right around it, and just a little bit more into that ticket wouldn't take much for an honest payout, and that's what you get here at Laurel Park.
Okay, we look at this race here, race 2, the 7 color Me Sexy. Javier Contreras this is a 9 to 5 on the morning line, and this filly does have speed from the outside. There's other speed types to her inside, but she does have that controlling position with that outside post position. Angel Cruz back in town after a grade 1 score yesterday. I think she's capable. I think she's dangerous a little bit. I mean, she did face, that solid $10,000 claimers for 9 winners of 2 coming out of Charlestown, excuse me, and then she came back to be the beaten favorite. But I think the connections are making the right move with her and dropping.
They are doing the right move, and somehow she's taken the Laurel, and she's been hammered. I mean, absolutely hammered at the windows for really no apparent reason. How she was $1.40 to 1 on August the 19th out of that 8, beaten 2 in life at Charlestown is beyond me. So somebody within this whole organization of Javier Contreras, they like her. They've bet her at the windows. She got the job done once. She's going to be entertained up front. I don't like that she's jamming right back down to the nickel. I'm going to take a shot that maybe she just showed her best. Tipped her hand August 19th. She's going to come back to reality today. She gets entertained with Antietam Creek. I think Convoyere for trainer Mary Epler, who's been on a roll of late, finally gets the right kind of flow. Last time out a little close to a slower early pace and just didn't have that finishing punch. Today she can take a little further back with Taylor Hole, and I think she'll sustain a run. Sally Palakai is going to make the first move into the speed.
She looks like she will be closing from off of the pace. I actually thought Antietam Creek had a little bit more of a versatile running style. She has shown on the turf and sometimes on the dirt that she can rate a little bit and then go on from there. I hope she doesn't get caught up in an early duel, but she is coming out of tougher races.
No doubt.
You see that starter optional claiming race that she did win at Pimlico over a good track. She might get that type of condition today, and that came up a relatively tough race. So she's got some sneaky back numbers, and I think it's funny. We're all over the map. We've got 6 different numbers up there, and that's where I signal.
There goes extra blue, and the 4-horse slips in there, but we'll see.
Oh, man. Yeah. Okay, well, that is race 2. We get to the 3rd on the card, heading out to the Fort Marcy, rail set at 87 feet, 5.5 furlongs here for this maiden $40,000 race. And this is another tricky one. This is the race that you click the all button in your early pick 4 ticket, but you hedge towards the 7-9's Wild Frankie here.
Once again, we're all over the map. I do, and you've got a race. Let's just be honest. I mean, we've got quite a few lower percentage trainers in here. The guys that just haven't, unfortunately, won a whole lot of races. We're both tossing the 8, who I think is going to take plenty of play, the horse shipping from New York for Gary Contessa. He looks like just 5.5 is his limit. I'm just questioning the company up there. I know tracking stock came back to him, but I think 9's Wild Frankie with that move to the outside, coming back in a short amount of time. The trainer's actually done okay over a long period if you look over the last several years. I think 9's Wild Frankie doesn't need the lead. I think he can sit and kind of just pounce on maybe Tiger's Bop, hopefully go clear and hold on late. He's going to probably get the staggers late, and I'm hoping the wire comes first.
I'm going with the new face here, and that's Best Yes. I think he'll show some speed getting to the turf. He did show speed on the main track, on the sloppy sealed track. He only has 1 career start. Now he immediately finds the turf for Larry Murray. Horacio Caramanis in the saddle. He is by Yes It's True, and he's out of the Alphabet Soup mare. The mare was all turf. She broke her maiden going long on the turf. She was an allowance winner going long on the turf. And this horse's lone sibling ran his best number on the turf too. So I'm taking a shot here with a new shooter, but I do respect the 6 Tigers Bop. You know, they dropped him, or he was competitive against Maiden Special Weight Company, dropped him down to try to get the win, couldn't do it. But I like the fact that Fergal Lynch is aboard. This horse really just sometimes he loses his focus coming down the stretch, and he needs a really aggressive rider just keep his focus.
No doubt, and a positive move. They're going to go ahead and protect this horse and jump him up a notch. Maybe another race didn't fill, but he's been proven against okay horses. You see pool winner, spring equinox horses that came back to win, going back to last spring and summer at Pimlico. He's held the right kind of company. I think he's in good form. He's recovered to his best form. Why not give him a shot here? He's going to go a long, long way in here. I just think Nine's Wild Frankie's maybe faced a little bit better. I think Concordia's way, now third time Lasix, second time Lasix over the turf course. I like the move that he was able to show for coming from off the pace. I'm going to throw him into the mix. Major Anthem. If there's a horse that needs a lot of speed, he's the one, and he's going to get it in here. He just 0 for 26 is tough to put him on top.
Well, Tiger's Bop and the trainer is the reason why I won't be here next Saturday.
Oh, really?
It's my cousin. He's getting married. So
great.
hopefully he gets a win and gets a little bit of money for the wedding.
A little bit of cash to head out on the honeymoon. Perfect.
Exactly.
That'll be good. And the 4 Inspector Bill. Here's another one. I chased this on Alamra yesterday. Brutal trip for High Bar. Blocked pretty much the entire stretch. But that race 2 back, August 13th, the lone try over the Laurel Turf Course wasn't really that bad. Crimson Seeker got away with it on the front end. Final time of 104-1 wasn't bad compared to Spartiano, so much better horse. His final time that day was 103-3. Comes out of an okay race. Don't think that he won't be running late at a big price.
Okay, we made a case for several of those runners, and that's why Keith clicks the
yes.
all button and his
No
pick
doubt.
4.
Okay.
We get to the 4th on today's card, a $10,000 claiming event. A mile on the main track to that second wire finish. I like a horse in here in the 4, Hey Willie, who we'll get to in a second, but the horse to beat on paper is primarily the 5, Mongolian King. 9-5 on the morning line. First time for trainer Tom Ionati. And we have a statistic for this type of move. And Tom Ionati, hats off to him. He's batting at 20% so far this year. He's done very well with it being aggressive, dropping his horses into the right level. And but overall, in the past couple of years, with the trainer switch on the dirt, only 8 for 42. And I know that's 19%, but it's a negative ROI. So you're not making money when you bet horses like this. So I think a vulnerable favorite, Keith. I'm going to try to beat this particular one with the 4. Hey Willie for trainer Ferris Allen, who does stretch back out in distance. This horse sprinted last time out, showed speed. He can't utilize his speed going that short of distance. He likes Laurel. He's a 3-time winner here, and he likes that 7 furlong to the mile distance.
Yeah, he's a 4-time winner running against a bunch of 2-time winners. That should say one thing right. I think he's going to go ahead and clear this field. 3 for 7 at Laurel. I said at the distance. He's good at this distance. I'm just worried that Mongolian King is going to be a little bit keen, a little fresh. Might move early into him and soften him up. But if he goes clear, he could go a long, long way, especially if he's clear into the top of the stretch. Resurgence. I'm going to use the 7 on top. Jose Corrales, very solid at this move. 5 for 13 over the last couple of years. 38% with 50% tag drops or more. I'm going to think the 6-year-old, they've had enough. Okay. Something's bothering them enough. We're going to go ahead and drop them down, just try to get a softer company and get the win. And Laura Lee Glasser, what a nice ride she put on that horse in the first race yesterday for Kathy Dibbin. Saved ground, angled out, maneuvered through a little traffic around the turn. I could see that kind of trip, just dropping in and making steady progress before wearing them down late.
She did everything right yesterday. And I guess I do like him. I respect him. My only concern is, does he prefer to sprint, or does he prefer to go longer? Does he have distance limitations? And we haven't seen him since mid-July, so all of that kind of bottled it up into one made me think a little bit vulnerable. But this could be an alternative option if you're trying to beat the 9-5 favorite there in race 4. But an interesting race there. As we take a quick break, when we come back, we're going to take a look at the Rainbow Stakes. It does kick off in race 5 today. I have a ticket, and we'll get to it right after this.
Save the date, October 22nd. Don't miss the 31st annual running of the Jim McKay Maryland Million at Laurel Park. Entertainment for the whole family. Don't miss the fun at Laurel Park, Saturday, October 22nd. For more information, visit MarylandMillion.com or MarylandRacing.com.
Welcome back to Today at the Races. Gabby Gaudet, joined by Keith Fustel. And now we take a look at the Rainbow Six. Just a small carryover in the sequence today. $465 does start in race 5 today. And I have a $76.80 ticket, and I couldn't find a single.
Who could?
I'm trying to just, dwindle it down in a couple of legs to keep this semi-affordable. But using 3 horses to start us off, the 148 with the 210 with the 711, spreading in races 8 and 9, and then just, doing the Hail Mary here in the last leg of the
Throwing it up,
sequence.
and hopefully somebody comes down with
Yep,
it.
the 6-8, because you could use maybe 2 or 3 other horses in that last race. But we're going to do what we can do with $76.80.
I hate that when you do the tickets, Gavin. You're lining them up and you got the calculator out. And nah, it's 100. No. And
Nope,
you have
gotta
to,
get rid of one.
we've got to wiggle, whittle it down enough to keep it at a fair number. That's fair enough. Yeah, 76. We'll give you a pass today.
Okay,
76,
thank you. All right, we'll take a look here at the 5th, and the one tap key, 2-1 on the morning line. The other half of the entry is a scratch. This one's for Jamie Ness, and in your pick 4 ticket too, Keith, you took a shot in trying to go against this horse.
I am just an absolute jam job off of a win. That screams red flag. They get away with it. They get away with it. That's fine. I'm not going to take the 2-1 or 8-5 that they're going to give me for Tap Key. I think Strike and Spare has come back to reality finally.
Yes.
And I'm going to toss the last race.
I like your choice of words because I agree. He's been a little bit outclassed in his past few starts.
Yeah, they've gone up there. They tried to go up and get the Jersey bred money. They weren't successful. He's a horse, once again, 5 for 17 at Laurel with 3/3. He's tactical enough in this field. You're looking at the race. I guess Luckback Sam and Current Rate are kind of going to be your pace setters. Roman Kyle maybe be fairly close, but Strike and Spares run some big efforts. And he has to go back to the last time he ran here, July 22nd, in that A, other than against Sea Raven. Jumping Frack Flash, we saw dropping and get the job and go straight. That's a much stronger company. He's forwardly placing there. He used to have some gate troubles. I think he's kind of overcome those. He gets positioned well with Carrasco and gets it done on this drop.
Okay, if I try, I hope I don't get stung by this bee that's flying around me. The 8, Rumbling Kyle, is the one that I opt for here. But I do agree with you, though. Strike and Spare coming back down to a reasonable level and is a 5-time winner here at Laurel. But Rumbling Kyle will show a stat for trainer Gary Capuano. And with winners last out coming back on the dirt, and these are primarily talking about low-level claimers, not a tremendous amount of horses, but I thought the 10 for 13 in the money, 77% in the money was kind of astounding. Only 2 for 13, but a positive ROI. So I'm going to take a shot with this horse. He gets in with a lightweight, the 5-pound apprentice, Kevin Gomez. And last time out, honestly, I thought this horse was extremely well ridden. He bobbled a little bit coming out of the gate, but it was a blessing in disguise. I think this horse, versus how he ran at Delaware on the 1st of August, wants to be taken off the pace.
Yeah, I think he's going to be able to do that today. Current Rate will go out, set a little target, luck back Sam. I think he's going to, his hand's going to be forced down inside. As you said, Rumbling Kyle, and that was a good stat you bring up when you're talking about 77% in the money. You get horses like that at square prices in a race that you don't like the favorite, especially in 8-5. You've got an opportunity. Take that horse top and bottom with a couple horses. You might come away with a $60 or $80 exacta. That's a very good stat when you're looking at horses like that at those kind of odds.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I like it.
You use the 6 Current Rate a little bit in here, just one that does have speed that could take him a long way.
Yeah, I do think so. I think here on his horses, the barn's heating back up a little bit. I think he just gets to jump on the field. I don't know if he's going to be able to kind of look in his rear mirror. If Strike and Spare is right, I don't know if he's going to be able to hold him off, but I think he's just going to be a factor the whole way. This is a tough race.
It is.
The short price you're going to get on Tap Key. I know his lone start over a fast surface was good. That was back at Keeneland in April of 2015. But I just don't like the giveaway tactics.
And, for a connections who are usually extremely dangerous here, they're trying to get off the schneid.
Yeah.
It's one thing to definitely pay attention to. And I think this jam job, again, is a little bit vulnerable. I do respect him still in the top 3, but going against him in terms of top selections. We get to the 6th, the race on the card, though, and this does kick off the final pick 5 of the day, the 50-cent pick 5, going out to the Kelso at rail set at 35 feet, 5.5 furlongs for this open $15,000 claimer. We'll go back to the 13th of August, where 2 horses come out of the same race, and they'll once again meet each other today, and that is the 2 Indian Bucks and Oak Bluffs. Keith,
yes.
I thought that this was as game of a performance that you could ask for by Indian Bucks to hang on down on the inside, just kept on grinding out a run. And then we saw Oak Bluffs just to his outside. He was grinding out a run too under Trevor McCarthy, just couldn't quite get up. You go to Oak Bluffs. What do you think is going to turn the tables?
Well, once again, just the way the barn's going right now, we've got a barn that's a little bit quiet. We've got one that's heating up. Oak Bluffs gets a little bit position again, I think, outside, similar to this. Any Bucks had a really, really hard race last time, and that's the key for me. Did that take enough of the starch? I know he gets a drop, but I know he finished 7th. He was only beaten 2 lengths. He ran hard every step of the way. That's back-to-back, 2 really hard races.
Yeah, he ran really hard in that
Can he come
race,
back?
too.
Is he going to come back again? But to me, it looks kind of like a match race. These two are they're hard to separate. Either one. You're looking at maybe Chaotic Bull to come running. Private Tutor as well. Mary's Honor Skylight's going to put the blinkers on this one, try to pick up a little bit of speed. We saw yesterday. Good Feng Shui wasn't an equipment change, but where'd that speed come from?
Yeah.
From Good Feng Shui yesterday, coming in from Parks.
And talking about Good Feng Shui, one horse that kind of reminds me of him is the 7 Mary's Honor a little bit. And I just think it's a horse that's going to really prefer the 5.5 furlongs to the second wire versus the 5 furlong, given his running style. That said, the blinkers go on. This could be a horse that might show improved speed, but I like him at a price. The only bad thing is, and why I'm not using him in the Rainbow Six, even though I did pick him second, is because I found a stat for Scott Lake, only 3 for 48 with turf sprinters at Laurel. So.
Wow.
81-cent ROI, and I just think that's kind of kind of a waste of money to throw a horse like that in when on paper it looks like this race really does go between the 2 and the 10.
You got to play the percentages, especially in a bigger ticket. You're investing a little bit more. Go with not your gut, but what you see a little bit on paper there.
Black and white.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, you're going to be better off doing this in the long run.
Okay, that is race 6. We get to the 7th year. A nice 2 other than allowance optional claimer for the girls. A mile and a 16th there on the Fort Marcy. We have 2 very nice turf allowance races. One of them for the girls, one of them for the boys. Yeah. And this is the one for the girls. We do see the likes of Channel Regatta coming back off of a second place performance last time out for trainer Hammy Smith. Hammy Smith sending out really a 1-2 punch in here.
He is. I agree with you. I think that the tables are going to be turned here a little bit. I like Moon Virginia. A little better edge. I think Channel Regatta last time out was in the better part of the track, was down inside that day on the that was the 17th, correct? Yeah, on the inner course, and that's where you wanted to be. Moon Virginia, though, she didn't really give up at all. Did all the dirty work, was real game to the wire. Do we have that video of Moon Virginia? Which a race back June 18th at Pimlico, which kind of tipped the hand that this 3-year-old filly was going to be okay routing on the grass. If we can show it here, doesn't break a little bit off there. Head turned slightly at the start, but she gets used pretty good here early. Looks like the jock, kind of wants to go ahead and let her settle. Maybe she's a little keen early. Maybe they've adjusted some equipment. You see her kind of just take off now, and she's hampered 4 wide into the turn, and that had to take some of the starch out of Moon Virginia that day at Pimlico. But we were going to cut back. Yeah, she continues 4 wide, and then she ends up, I think 5 wide at the head of the stretch if we got continued video. But she actually, here it is, she's out there again, maybe almost 6 wide turning from, but she keeps trying. She really doesn't lose ground the last 3/16 of a mile, which showing me, she's a tactical type of horse. She's got some grittiness, got some heart. She'll fight you if she gets the right kind of trip. I think the flow of this race is into her favor. That's why I think she's going to be able to kind of go ahead and overtake her stablemate today, Channel Regatta.
And it did look like she was intentionally taken back from off of the pace in that race going into the first turn. She tried to settle and she said, nope, not having any bit of this. I want to go. And I hope they revert to those tactics today because there's not an overwhelming amount of speed. This is a filly that does very well on the front end. You saw in her subsequent start, Victor Carrasco board against Allowance Company when she stayed going 2 turns. They went to the front and it was successful. So I think she's a grittier filly when she does make the lead, and I don't really see anybody going with her. So her 2 wins actually came on the lead, even sprinting in the slop. So that's the main factor where I think that she could turn the tables on a horse like Channel Regatta. Beyond her, Keith, we have the 3 Regal Roma, and she's going to be bet. She comes out of Stakes Company at Delaware last time out. She was good against, Allowance Company at Delaware too. You see On Leave, Stella Rose in the running lines, but she still has a little bit of a tricky feel to her.
Yeah, she does. She's she's fallen a little bit further off the pace than I maybe would like to have seen the last couple races. You mentioned yesterday's turf course. being a little bit closer to the pace might be to your advantage. We'll see if it stays like that today. That's why I'm going to use Arain instead of her in that third position. I think she's a little bit more tactical, and there's not much separating those two. So, but I do think the road's going to go through Hammy Smith, 7 or 11. And Chandler Regatta, she's nice. I mean, she's proven it in good stakes at Pimlico, where she came closing, only beating a couple lengths. She's going to make an honest run from off the pace.
All right, that is race 7, a very nice featured allowance race. On the turf, we get to the 8th, the non-winners at 2 lifetime in for that $10,000 tag. 6 furlongs on the main track, and another one that is just a scramble.
Here we go.
It's an absolute scramble.
6 different horses up on the board. Okay.
The 7-10 Hut, Michelle Nevin ships this horse in, and you have to resist. Michelle Nevin is almost like, the Linda Rice shippers.
Yeah, we saw it yesterday exactly with Linda Rice.
Use them.
Yeah, you're almost forced to use them, and I think she would be my fourth selection in here. That would be the 7-10. Yeah, he's okay, but it's just like, man, he looks like he's got a little bit of phony to him. Burford, I'll try Burford again. The 17th showed some improvement back from the races in the springtime. Transitioned back to the dirt course last time, going 7. Was on the worst part of the track. Really kind of whistled through pretty good fractions, dueling. Just faded a little bit late. I think the shortening up is enough. If she can go ahead and get a good break and shake clear, I think she could be gone in this field.
Okay, well, I do think that her best option is descend from the rail. She must go. But what is Sweet 7 has been shown, or been known to show a little bit of speed. I'm not going to lie, I had trouble with this race. The 6 Raven Rush is the horse that I'll prefer to, or I'll revert to, because I do like the turn back in distance. She has been going a distance of ground either on the turf or the dirt, and she just cannot harness that early energy. But she started her career off sprinting on the dirt, and it actually wasn't that bad. So I'm looking, and that was against slightly tougher, like a kind of upper level maiden claimers. So I'm hoping she's going to get that pace. That one will soften up year one on the inside, and then she can come with that late run. She just looks like a horse that'll prefer the cutback.
No doubt, no doubt. Raven Rush, they probably been a little frustrated. He's been teasing them on the turf course, running some okay races, has encountered some tough trips. This is not a really strong field. He probably should make an okay run, I think, for a mid-pack. And he's going to be a square price. I get 8-1 on the morning line. I think you deserve to get something between 6 and 8-1 on Raven Rush.
I'm going to throw in, who was the 3, Data Mining as a bomb there in this leg of the sequence. So hopefully we can get a nice little price there in the pick 6 as we get to the 9th on the card. Our co-featured allowance race, the Kelso at 35 feet, a mile and a 16th is 3 other than allowance. And we'll go back to the Grade 1 Hollywood Derby. We do have a Grade 1 winner in today, the 4 Chiropractor. And Keith, I thought, overall, I've had a strong opinion about this race because we've seen so many horses come out. I mean, this was a very good field.
Sure.
We saw March come back to be 3rd in the 3 other than allowance. Go back to recently 2nd in the Del Mar Mile. Money Multiplier was in this race. Some very nice horses. There are some performances that I thought were a little bit phony, and I think Chiropractor was one of them. And I was very tough against March during his campaign kind of last season, because I thought, that was a phony race between March and Chiropractor. I was wrong about March. Will I be wrong about Chiropractor?
I don't know. I'm not, going to use him today. So far back. The blinkers go on, which is a move that he doesn't do a lot, but he hits it at an okay rate. That's Tom Proctor.
He's just fallen off the map ever since.
I don't know what to do with this horse. And what do? You don't even have John Jones in your top 3? That's it. That's it. I'm
Are
done.
You walking off?
Yeah.
What
kind of scam is this? No. I mean, here's a horse. He's just turned into another horse.
I know.
It's incredible. I made a comment, and it's probably way too early. But, I mean, he kind of reminds me of like a move with Paige McKinney, the way he's been able to improve this dramatically in such a short time on both surfaces. So that being said, you got the scratch of eye play every day. John Jones to the front. John Jones wins.
I think he's
No?
definitely he is
I mean,
definitely
yeah.
aided by the fact that I play everyday scratches.
Yeah.
But my Enigma isn't that slow either. I mean, this horse was forwardly
Come on,
placed.
he's not
and
as
he's
fast
not
as
as
John
fast as
Jones.
John Jones.
Yeah.
No way. My concern is that
Yeah.
he can't get the distance.
Okay.
I think he would be okay going the flat mile on the turf. The mile and a 16th might be a bit of
Right.
a stretch. I know in the past he has gone a mile and a 16th on the turf,
Yeah.
and he showed speed. He's going to be the one to catch. And the way the turf was playing yesterday,
Yeah.
well, he might just keep on going and forget
Yeah.
to stop.
I mean, he's kind of like blossomed where I'm seeing some of these other horses.
Well,
maybe
I
they
think
fall-
Graham's horse. I
That's
definitely
the
think
horse
Irish
that,
Straight is
yeah,
the horse
and I
that's the
think
block.
I've got this horse lined wrong when I first looked at it. You know, the Monmouth numbers are usually a little inflated the buyers, but the one thing I didn't catch when I was on the line, this horse was gelded, you know, in August of 2016. And we've seen the improvement, some sudden improvement by Irish Straight. Yeah, I'm definitely going to use him into the mix now.
Yeah, they gelded him. They put the blinkers
Yeah.
on him, and ever since then, he's
Yeah.
been an improved horse. He continues to be on the upward swing. So I like Irish Straight. I should have thrown John Jones just because the way the turf was playing yesterday, and with the scratch of I play every day, who was my top selection. Who I thought would keep John Jones a little bit honest on the
Right.
front end. He does look like he'll be pretty tough. But Irish Straight looks like an improving horse. I don't really know what to do with Chiropractor.
Yeah.
You and I are going to be tossing him. But you also use the one English Minister
I
in
do.
there. My concern with him, though, Keith, is that he's a horse that doesn't really like any moisture in the turf.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So
I mean,
that's one thing I've always noticed about him. He's a very big horse, and when the turf comes up good or soft, he just kind of sinks in it.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that this rain just kind of stays the way it is. They were rolling it as I left last night. Maybe it firmed it up a little bit. I don't think he's going to go to the front. I don't think he wants to go ahead and run with John Jones early, but he's shown he's been okay to be covered up down inside and fairly close, and he'll give you a little fight late. He's definitely seasoned. He's faced the right kind of horses. He's been fairly consistent. I'm going to throw him into the mix, but
I don't know if that's my mistake. I have the 8 Irish Straight on top,
Oh,
not
okay.
the one English
All right.
Minister. So maybe that was my dyslexia moment early today. So 8-1-3 for me in the 9th race. We'll wrap things up here with the 10th, a maiden $16,000 event on the Fort Marcy, 5.5 furlongs. And this is the race where I wish I could go 5 deep in the pick 6, but I'm just going to be going to 2. And that is, one of them is the 6 Include Gold, who does drop from the maiden special weight company into that $16,000 tag. And I'll also respect the 8 Southside Strut, who I think we have a
yeah, a little
replay
video.
on.
Yeah, we got a video of last time, and I liked her last time. She ran well, was really gained to the finish, but she encountered early trouble. If we can go ahead and roll it, she was down to the inside. You see her at number 2 that day. She breaks cleanly, and we see this unfortunately time and time again in these turf sprints. Either the horse is on the lead, kind of back up into you, but this is not the greatest spot to be unless that speed horse has a little speed to go, and it backs up into her, and Toledo's got to fight her. She's tough to settle there. She's fighting restraint, steadies again. So, you know, you're thinking she's almost steady and close to a 16th of a mile, but here's what I like. She doesn't give up. She kind of gets back, finds a rhythm again. He alters out, and what a strong ride, Toledo. He does not stop on this filly. And it looks like she's kind of floundering there, is just going to maybe run 3rd or 4th, but she keeps trying and actually just gets up for the place over First to Fire, who we're also going to see in this race is going to be a pace factor again. Good effort there. Going to be up there a long, long way. Hopefully this position towards the outside is going to be a little bit better for the outside strut. But Carantu Hill, I'm going to pick up in here. Gets the blinkers on, off of a layoff for JBC Corps. Hasn't been seen since Pimlico. Was making a good move, was stymied completely down to the inside at Pimlico. I think this horse is going to relish the speed in this race and make a good run. The blinkers keep her a little bit closer. She follows through. Her best number was over a good turf course.
Sometimes I have a tough time with picking horses like that in particular who have been okay and semi-successful going a route of ground, cutting back to 5.5 furlongs. It kind of looks like maybe she might be okay going longer or going kind of the mile and a 16th. But she does put the blinkers on. There seems to be a pace, and she should be closing late under jockey Angel Cruz for JB Secor. But that is our 10 races on tap. We're going to do an anti-race dance so we can keep all these races on the turf, and it's going to be a beautiful day. We have two nice featured allowance races and a pretty heavy-duty card. I'm telling you, it's going to be dive into that early pick 5. It paid 3 out of 5 yesterday. I believe in you. You can do 5 out of 5.
Yeah, I'll try to do it. I know I'm going to take a shot at the pick 4. I think there's tons of value with some suspect favorites.
All right, thanks again for joining us here on Today at the Races. We're going to take a quick break, and Dave Rodman will be up next with those scratches and changes. Good luck.
Good luck.